Hi Capricorn, welcome to the end of March, I guess now, to whenever you see this video reading for Sun, Moon, and Rising, or if you're just interested in Capricorn energy, welcome. Always use your own logic and discernment when making decisions, and let this be a little bit of a spark or advice or clarity. And if you have time, check out the links that I put below for further fun, clarity, whatever, on some of the cards and messages, things that we talk about, like visual metaphors, signs, lyrics, whatever inspires you. So I thought we would just start with the planetary energies. This is going to be kind of a funny reading for me because Capricorn, it's not a sign that I feel like I know a ton about. It's kind of opposite of my sign, so we'll see how things go. So for planets, the who, what, and where of energies within going on perhaps for you or affecting you. So you might want to check out your birth chart and see what planets you have in Capricorn or anything like aspecting Capricorn. Yeah. So for planets, planetary energies for Capricorns, what can Capricorns know? Neptune, Neptune and North Node on the bottom. Signs, like the context of how these the planet might be affecting you. What sign? In Capricorn. And Aquarius on the bottom. And houses. What house for Capricorns? The second house. Okay. So I guess I'll just start out by reading the little fortunes on here. So see if anything helps you, little tidbits of advice. Goes intuition and logic, so, or, spiritual advice and action doing advice. Says the idealization of dedication to archive your beliefs, confusion regarding focusing on what you value, and sacrifice resulting from the rules imposed by your resources. And more action advice, things to perhaps do. It is inspire others with, turn it around. Inspire others with your goals patiently. Be prepared to sacrifice for the day-to-day reality of what you want. And yielding is the only way to use the most business-like way and get what you need. So, oh God, just dropped everything. Now I can't find it. There we go. Okay, these are. Get organized here. So Neptune is kind of the opposite of Capricorn. It's very out there energy, dreamy. You see a lot of people that are like, rock stars and into drugs and stuff like that have a lot of Neptunian energy. So it's a lot different than the Capricorn, which is very, get to work, a little bit serious. Like I said, it's very opposite from what I am sort of used to, even though, I think for me, Sagittarius and then Capricorn, it's like right next to each other, very opposite energies, but if you imagine them going like two separate ways, they end up at the same place. They just have very different ways of going about it. To be honest, most Capricorns are always like kind of intimidated me. They, even before I knew that they were Capricorns, just kind of that vibe of just very straight-faced and very hard workers, though. It's about getting the job done. And for Neptune to be in Capricorn, that's actually what I have. It kind of makes bringing the dream world into the day-to-day reality, and in the second house of basically what you value, what you believe, your resources, things that support you. And yeah, I don't know if there's like Capricorn having to do with goals and just being affected by whatever planet you have there. So check that out and see how that goes for you. As a foundation card, to start out with, for Capricorns, strength. And the Two of Wands is on the bottom. So, the Strength card, it's about kind of talking a little bit about the second house, your power, your resources, the things that you have at your disposal to utilize to help you to reach your goals. So maybe tapping more into your dreams and things that you want to see happen, things that more imagination land, to bring those things into reality, I guess, or it's talking about mind, body, harmony, being in alignment with head and heart, see if there's anything. This is about using a gentle touch, so that might speak to the Neptune and Capricorn. Capricorns can be a little bit, cut to the point. It just kind of depends on where you have it in your chart, and what planet you have there. If it's just going off sun, moon, and rising, if it's your sun, it has more to do with like how you see yourself, and you're a very hard worker and that kind of thing. And if it's your moon, it's more like just maybe a little bit protective of your emotions, and you don't really probably rush into anything. You don't really maybe open up as much to, or you don't show how you feel as much. Or kind of just like, it's funny. Out of nowhere, though, Capricorns will just like, I've noticed in my experience, just sort of be very serious, and then out of nowhere just sort of have a really funny joke, and you're like, okay, now we're grooving, we're like, we gotten to that point where we can joke with each other, and then you'll say a joke and we'll just be like straight face, and you're like, okay, never mind. So it's just being, especially in the second house with maybe being a little bit more Neptunian, talking about your beliefs, talking about what inspires you, talking about, what you imagine for your life, that kind of thing, and how that works for you. Using some sort of gentle touch, being a little bit more, maybe a little bit more sensitive, with especially Capricorn, like wherever that falls for you. Capricorn is the original ruler of the 10th house, so career maybe, even though we're still talking about the second house. So, but they can all, aspect each other and affect each other. So maybe just using a lightening things up. There you go. And finding humor in things, finding, just maybe being a little bit more easygoing with the things that with your resources, with what you value, and maybe not being so sort of closed off, if you tend to be. Using that gentle touch to sort of maneuver the things that can potentially be a little bit maybe, I want to say hazardous, but like a lion, like this girl is trying to tame a lion. So, and she does it through grace and through patience and just letting it warm up to her. So, um, those kinds of things into your second house of what you value and how that works for you, whatever sign you have there. It also, it talks about head and heart, power, maybe, I don't know if there's talking about power, authority, that kind of thing. Maybe, and then your resources. So just, being a little bit more flexible with that. You might feel more inclined to use whatever, power that you have to sort of maybe manipulate situations. Neptune can be a little bit, maybe not in purpose, but to that end, a little bit manipulative, just very emotional, watery, like not giving into that. Just trying to find a balance between head and your heart, what you feel like, what your instincts, and more logic, reasoning, to get where you want to go. See if there's anything that stands out to you. So flowers, spring. I do know that there's a new moon in Aries, so it's kind of talking about fresh starts and getting things rolling, getting things off the ground, knowing the best way to do that, using your resources, the things that you have, your money, your finances, all that to get the ball rolling. And finding that balance between Neptune and Capricorn, water and earth. Two of Rods. This can be about, communication, sending things out, looking towards your future, holding sometimes I think of it as like a crystal ball or something, looking into the future, trying to decide about what you want, where you see yourself going, maybe deciding between two things. Usually with twos, there's some sort of choice or decision involved, so deciding the path that you want to go on, to ultimately reach your goals, what you want to see happen, on a very like cheesy level, like a vision board to visualize what you want and then making it happen. But rods are fire, and strength is also usually associated with Leo. And this can mean soulmates too. Two people, 2 weeks, 2 days. Sometimes I think of it as a guide. Or tracking something. Just notice his cape, all the textile, the different patterns, the different, the red and blue. Just kind of like water and fire. Maybe taking a step back, seeing the big picture, like he is, like the globe, seeing from a higher point of view, higher vantage point, so you can see how everything works together. chart your best route towards where you want to go. Rods represent your ideas, so it's like just kind of in that beginning stage of deciding what is right for you. It is too, so second house works out. Holding Earth in his hands, so Capricorn Earth. Two and 8 is 10, so that is the 10th house, or 1. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's the Thoth deck. For further clarity on energies and how these are affecting Capricorns. I don't know. The bottom was the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Swords. So being overwhelmed with your thoughts, maybe saying it like it is, speaking your mind, cutting through the bullshit, cutting to the chase, finding the clear way through, the best path, the best way to go. Again, sort of making a decision. What popped out was the Lovers, though. So this is, get a good angle. There we go. I'm like, don't want to block my face. I know I talk quietly, so when anyways, this is about choice. Can mean very much what it means. The lovers. We did say soulmates earlier, but it also kind of talks about how, you, someone else, and then higher being, universe, whatever it is to you, being involved in some sort of decision or choice. Sixes have to do with love and loving others. Could talk about the 6th house as well, which is your everyday. We did talk about, I think that came up somewhere, your day-to-day activities. Sometimes I think of this card, this isn't as traditional imagery, but sometimes I think of it as the Garden of Eden. That's just what it looks like on normal cards, with the man and a woman, and there's like a tree and a snake and like an angel. So and that came up in another reading too. And we have Neptune here in Capricorn, perhaps in the 6th house or the 2nd house. Like Leo, maybe but like bringing heaven to earth, whatever heaven is to you, your ideal places, retreat of the mind, retreat of the spirit, soul, whatever, down to, from Neptune, outer boroughs, outer space, your imagination, the things that you dream of, all that, down to earth, making a choice about which direction to go from there, using all your resources, you're deciding maybe based on what you value, where you're at financially. This also talks about opposites, coming together of opposites. Again, the eagle and the lion. I like to read. These cards have so much symbolism and all that even though I've had this deck for a while, it's very it's still pretty new to me. So I thought I'd read that. The Lovers, Gemini. Yeah, it does represent Gemini. Lovers, or twins. Let's see. This is an alchemical card illustrating the marriage or union of two opposites. Thus, we have the prince and princess holding the wand and the cup. Cain and Abel, Lilith and Eve. The swords at the back suggest the intellectual process in the uniting of two elements. So again, two of rods, second house. The figure of the creator blesses the deliberate synthesis. The alchemical white eagle of salt and the red eagle of sulfur, the egg of wisdom, and the winged wand of Osiris are at the bottom of the card. So Osiris, I think in ancient Egyptian culture, talking about the first man coming down to earth. So again, that kind of beginning, that starting point, that origins of where you see yourself going, where you're at now, where you see yourself going in the future. Charting a course, maybe making some sort of decision, finding the middle ground between your dreams and what is actually possible, reality. It's funny because, only the few Capricorns I've known are very much like that, very realistic, which kind of always, on one hand, is very good for someone like myself who's a little bit more tends to rush into things, or not necessarily rush into things, but just gets excited about things, fiery energy, and just being like, okay, how are you going to actually make that happen? What's your plan? And kind of like, you just, raining on my parade here, kind of takes the illusion out of things, which is funny because the Neptune, is kind of about illusion and mysteries of life and all that. So maybe finding, again, that happy medium, realizing that there are, other ways of going about things, tempering something to that end. But combining opposites. So if there's anything that stands out to you, Gemini is about your communication as well, thoughts, mental activity, getting clear maybe in your head about what you want. Because again, Neptune can be a little bit foggy in that sense, just sort of veils things over with what you are dreaming about. So finding that middle ground, like I said, between practicality and dreams and all that. And this again was the 10th house, 10 of Swords. Be overwhelmed with your thoughts, overwhelmed perhaps with options of where you maybe see yourself going. Let's see, I'll pull another one. Talk about, since with that new moon in Aries, taking on new projects, again, deciding what project to go with, what endeavor to go with. Envisioning where you see yourself going. Gemini is there we go. I was going to say Gemini is the 12th. This is 12. Or the Hangman. I don't know which way it came out this way. Again, talking about communication, maybe. Sacrifice, in the sense that sacrifice, real sacrifice, isn't really a sacrifice. You do it out of love, that kind of thing. Sometimes just taking a time out, a break, maybe to decide what it is that you want, which way to go. Lots of choice and decision. But yeah, 6 and 12, so some sort of opposite. Maybe 12 reduces down to a 3, so again, having to do with love and creativity. So blue and orangey, red fire kind of colors again. But yeah, it's taking a break, taking a time out to decide. From that very beginning of something new, maybe looking for something new to take on. Decide what that is, how to best go about it. The moon was on the bottom. So again, that talks about your emotions and maybe, tapping into your emotions, really understanding how you feel about a situation or how you see your future, how you feel about your future, if you're on the right track. But it can also just mean, like the moon can go both ways. Like it can be very much illuminating and sort of like all things you associate with moon, sort of moonlit walks, romance, emotions, that kind of thing. Or it can be very deceptive and misleading. It has something to do with following a path. At the very beginning of a journey, starting out. These two people are, it's 2 and 2, and sometimes traditional imagery of the moon, there's a dog and a wolf meeting at this like beginning point of a path. Seeing how far you have to go. Maybe because of that, you're like, I need to take a time out first and rest up before I take that on, whatever that is. This also talks about cycles and lunar phases, phases of the moon, and just the kind of like the ups and downs of emotion. So between Neptune and Capricorn, and maybe the ups and downs of that, especially maybe being affected by your second house, of your beliefs and of your values and your resources and the things that you have to work with, maybe affecting how you feel about where you're going, maybe about your career, maybe affecting what you decide to take on, either letting that be of help and of guidance, or could be detracting from that. Outside influences coming in that may or may not be illuminating, may or may not be true. The moon kind of shadows things over, creates shadows, creates illusions in the night, that kind of thing. So you may not be seeing things clearly as well. You may not be seeing the path that you want to go on very clearly, figuring out like, where is it? Like, how do I get there? But yeah, 18 again reduces down to a 9. So we have 3, 6, 9, and also 8 and 2. But that we already said that came down to 1. So this is, I think, talking more about you and your inner strength and utilizing that, use all your beliefs, all the things that keep you strong and going, to decide to be strong if you're not feeling physically strong, if you're not feeling emotionally strong, whatever it is, to just to still like go the distance, to not let things that are external to you or anything that may be affecting your emotions decide for you what's right for you. So I think this is talking more about you. Maybe you have Neptune or Capricorn or Leo, since this represents Leo, Gemini, in the or the moon in any of those places. This can also represent Chiron, which just talks about the wounded healer, the things that were meant to, ultimately in this lifetime somehow, like our overall purpose, not so much like our career, but the things that either within our own personal life, wherever it falls for you in your chart, it's in that area of your life that you're supposed to sort of heal or focus on. Maybe just hanging out, listening to music though too, on a more day-to-day reality level. Finding strength maybe in music, meditation, resting, taking a break, going somewhere maybe, escaping even into your mind if you can't get away. 369, I think of the Nikola Tesla's, like, if you only understood the significance or the magnificence of the numbers 396, you'd have a key to the universe, which kind of talks about this, like having a key to the universe, unlocking the door, seeing the big picture, seeing how everything works together, the heavens and the earth. Yeah. Where did the moon card go? Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. This can also, it is Mother's Day, so the moon represents your mom. It represents, the effect that your mom had on you, or the influence of her in your life. It can also represent, like, maybe how you would be as a mother, but I don't know. Astrologer could probably tell you more about that. So maybe just spending time with your mom, calling your mom if you forgot. There's some sort of Cupid shooting his arrow down lovers. Think of Cupid and, or is it Cupid and Psyche, or no, Eros and Psyche, that Greek myth. Maybe I can find something about that, put that below. It just kind of talks about how, it talks about like our, conscious, subconscious, intuition, logic, and just how, but it all dates back to an actual Greek myth. I think something having to do with, there was Eros and Psyche, like she, the girl in the myth, I could be completely getting this wrong, and if so, I'm just making up my own story right now, but she kind of like messed things up with something or within the relationship, and in order to get her guy back, she had to like appeal to Venus. No, that's not right. Okay, I'm not gonna even try. I do know, I listened to something on it a long time ago, and it was kind of interesting. I think now I want to know, and it's going to kind of stick in my head. And anyways, 369. So just seeing how cycles and all that work together, how maybe lunar phases affect you, especially if you have a really prominent moon placement. So like, for example, I have my moon in Taurus, which is another earth sign, and it's opposite of my sun and pretty much all my other planets, up there in like the 11th house. It's very much like isolated from and having to do with emotions. It can talk about like feeling emotionally isolated from the things that, or detached, like for me, there's so much energy down here in your personal life, fifth house, all your personal planets, all that for me. And so, you know, it kind of is this big distracting thing. And by the time I actually get up to, like, time passes and I get through a project, and it's only after that do I reflect on the things that I've done, and I see, like, the projects I've created, and I'm able to, like, see the emotion in it. But within all that chaos and in that beginning point, you know, having an opposite sun and moon is, like, very much like, what you want, you don't need. What you need, you don't want. It's complicated energy. But utilizing maybe those things to your advantage, just knowing those things about yourself, how they affect you. It's funny, yeah. Actually, even was birth time, universal time, 369 for me, or something like that, which I thought was weird. Anyways, so just knowing your exact time of birth, maybe, so that you can get all the correct degrees for your planets. Because degrees to some degree are important. You know, they, especially critical degrees, and something like a 0 or 29 or I think like 11 or anything like that. So, yeah, Lovers pretty much just talks about making a choice, thinking about the choice that you want to make, making sure it's good for you, you know, it feels right to you, both within, you know, your logical side, your reasoning, analytical side, after, you know, evaluating all the facts and all the possibilities and options, and also within your heart, you know, does it speak to you really? Does it really, you know, make you feel passionate or excited to move forward? And does it make the best use of all your resources and all the things that you have to work with? So further clarity on all these cards for Capricorns. Taurus Crown, King of Pentacles. So this is Venus and the Moon in Taurus. So emotions, love. So maybe the Moon isn't speaking so much to, you know, maternal type energy. It has to do with your feelings. It can go, you know, feelings about anything, feelings about your mom, or romantic feelings. So since this Venus probably has something more to do with your romantic feelings, and kind of like, again, the lovers and this can also talk about a little bit about connection, using a gentle touch. Same sort of colors here. Yeah, but again, there's that path. Setting out on a journey, setting out on new adventures, new endeavors, new projects, new horizons towards your future. What will bring in, you know, comfort and stability, and just lead you in that right way. Maybe if you're feeling worried about, you know, will you have enough resources to maintain or get you where you want to go. Just evaluating those things in your decision. Is it the right time? But with that new moon in Aries, it kind of really talks about, yeah, whatever you do may really be a great new fresh start. But just to, like, think about it before you rush in. Taking your time. Ultimately, I think being sort of successful. This can be This is like the King of Pentacles. The can be a man or a woman though, since it's a general reading, and yeah, again, I think of this hangman, like taking a break, taking a time out. Taurus can enjoy that, maybe sometimes a little bit too much is what I've heard, and sometimes notice, liking to take that slow route, taking your time, naps. I think ultimately getting where you're going, but somewhat can really enjoy that sort of slow paced lifestyle. Just, being in a comfortable environment, enjoying your surroundings, enjoying what you have, that kind of thing. So in that sense, it can be like a little lazy, but not, still getting where you're going, still being successful, but just taking your time, especially if you to like build up, your strength in order to make this long journey. Looks pretty far over those mountains, so maybe also knowing what to anticipate, also pacing yourself. Especially with like finances and that kind of thing, like making sure that each, you don't like spend all your money at the beginning and like there's something to sustain you afterwards. I think Capricorns know that. I don't think I have to tell you that, but Capricorns being very realistic. If you have Moon in Capricorn, maybe feeling emotionally grounded or getting emotionally grounded. By maybe taking a time out, a break, just understanding the things that give you sustenance, like music maybe, or art, creativity. This really makes a lot of sense because this is the Fool on the bottom. Fool's Journey, that's what, Major Arcana 0 through 21. This is the very, very beginning of the entire thing. So I think Capricorns are really starting out on something, sounds like. It's about taking that first step. Sometimes blind faith, like trusting where you're going. It's like, I don't know. We're always going in cycles. So 21, starts right back at the Fool. So it's taking everything that you have learned up until this point with you to help you on your next endeavor, your next project, journey, whatever it is. Let's see if I can share that to you better. But also, being very open-minded to whatever you're going to encounter on this journey. Knowing that not every cycle, every journey, every whatever it is going to be the same. So being open to newness, being open to whatever comes your way, embracing the journey. A lot to do with travel too, setting out. It can also have to do with like someone who's about to step off a cliff, like about to take that leap of faith towards that next thing that they want to do or accomplish. Eyes are closed. Sometimes it has a little companion with him, and it doesn't, it can go either way. So being aware of where you're going, like I said, like planning your first step, planning, each step as much as you can, but still being open to changes, fluctuations, flexibility in that, the Neptune, and I don't know where else we had, but there's a lot of Earth energy, so really reeling in that sort of flexibility for each, some sort of fluidity and structure in your plan going forward. Being open to changes, embracing change, but having your eyes open at the same time. Because reverse and kind of go the opposite way and say you're just kind of going on blind faith and haven't really thought anything through and just like la-di-da, like about to walk off a cliff and have no idea, that kind of thing. So being cognizant, I guess, of all those things. It's also taking what you need. Nothing more, nothing less. If you are traveling, this card equates it to air. So Uranus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Sun and moon, again. So that opposite, maybe finding your midpoint in your birth chart. So you kind of, I don't know what kind of balance to strike. Like for me, that opposite energy between moon and Taurus up in that public domain and sun in Sagittarius and the more personal life, a lot of fire versus earth can kind of get more confusing, like your emotions kind of conflicting with your heart, like head and your heart at odds, like what do you want, so finding that midpoint can be helpful, maybe as far as like your most authentic expression or how to, energy to utilize to help you the most. And where that falls in your chart, what area of your life would be helpful for you to look into more, learn more about. See the eye, a little bag. That's what the Fool is carrying usually, but this one looks like a purse. So with some sort of, I don't know, what is it? An eagle embellishment. Very big, like sort of embroidery or brooch or something like that. Says it has some fire, so just notice all the wheel. The wheel's always turning, the cycles are always going, so it's kind of like jump on, don't wait too long, but I guess be careful and approach things wisely. Just notice all the plants here. They actually kind of looks like pot. I'm sure that's not what it is, but it looks like it to me. And this is just about being open to new experiences too. Going to the flow, seeing where the path takes you, seeing where life takes you. Maybe even charting your own course. Taking the road less traveled. Especially that new moon in Aries, feeling, excited and open to flexible, just embracing of that newness of what could be, what's coming in, still maintaining some sort of grounded Fool, starting out and just going all the way to that Taurus, using your emotions. Maybe you're making a decision about what you feel in love, what you want to do in love, or how you feel about a certain person. Can that work for the long term with Capricorn and Neptune, like trying to envision your future, and does that person fit into your future? Maybe starting fresh with something, someone. I did listen to something about, just the energy for the week for Capricorns, having to do with fresh starts and that kind of thing. So that being an option, that being something that could potentially happen if you allow it to. It's also like Fool talking about it, like an allowance and allowing energy. It's 0, so it's that 0 point. Finding that 0 point for you, that center point within the wheel, where all the transits, everything's kind of shifting around you, and sometimes, like, external life circumstances, changes, fluctuations, and finances, jobs, friendships, all things that we go through in life, and just maintaining that sort of center point where you can see things, that have passed, that are passing, and coming to be. So being open to timing, being open to divine timing. Might not be your timing. So just being open to when messages come in, when opportunities come in. Being ready maybe to jump on the boat, jump on the wheel when that opportunity presents itself. Just thought of that Notebook scene. I think I've referenced this movie a few times, but when he jumps on the Ferris wheel. Can't think of that many other movies with Ferris wheels, but so there's a Ferris wheel here in Chicago. It's like one of the biggest ones. Navy Pier. It's also thought of the Ferris wheel at Coney Island, which is terrifying, especially if you're afraid of heights like I am. The carts that you sit in that go back and forth, and they, oh my god, it's like one way to have a heart attack if you're like me and afraid of heights. So just knowing yourself, knowing what makes you feel good, safe, comfortable, taking a little bit of a risk, but having, having what you need with you, ready to go, having already thought about it, what you want, where you want to go, so when that, like I said, when that opportunity comes, you're ready. And so this is the Art of Life Tarot. To sum up advice for if you're trying to make a decision about someone, or pull two of wands again. So I think there really is some sort of decision going on having to do with direction and or someone. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are. J.P. Morgan. That's funny. I mentioned Tesla earlier, and there was between him and I think it was J.P. Morgan that financed his the Tesla tower, the electricity, or it might have been something else that he was working on. They worked together at some point, and it didn't really end well. I know that. I think when he found out what Tesla was actually doing, using the money for, probably still should have gone with it because he was a genius, but that's okay. The Road with Acacias by Roger de la Fresnaye in 1908. Musée de Ville de Paris. Musée Paris, France, whatever. So, also maybe figuring out how you're going to get somewhere. Metaphorically speaking, literally speaking, what's your preferred mode of transit? You're going to take a walk? Or maybe you're deciding between cars, or deciding between, you're going to fly there, take a long route, maybe a scenic route. But basically just deciding to go, to get on with it, make a decision. Four of Swords also came out. So this is also, again, talking about meditation, coming back from coming back home from the day, resting in bed, finding a quiet place to reflect on things, maybe about the day, where you want to go. My Sun Sets to Rise Again, Elizabeth Barrett Browning. It says End of Day by George Faulkner Weatherby, late 19th to early 20th century. Just a guy going across the field. Just flop. Like I said, end of the day, coming home, resting, meditation. Four Swords, I often equate swords having to do with thoughts, communication, especially to sometimes mean 4 letters in a name, if that has any bearing for you. It also reminds me of the book The Alchemist, the shepherd, and making a long journey towards something. Maybe even like doing some sort of trade. Like he had to like trade his flock for some money. I think I read it a really really long time ago, so I don't remember all the details. But something like that maybe. Having to like give up something in order to go forward, like taking what you need, not carrying everything with you, whether that be like emotions, leaving things behind, or just realizing what's important to you, I think, especially thinking about emotions, thinking about how you feel about a situation, and just understanding what really makes a difference for you, and how those things affect you along the way, Again, 2 and 4 add up to a 6, so looking at things through love, through filter of love, trying to find that sort of like peaceful way of seeing things. What will give you peace? What will bring peace, inner peace, peace of mind, especially with the swords, to you. Maybe in the long run, maybe today. On the bottom was the Emperor. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. So this can represent someone who's in charge. Sometimes Taurus, sometimes Aries. So that new moon in Aries, and then we have the King of Pentacles here. Maybe even surpassing the King of Pentacles, getting to that Emperor place where you're just really in charge of your entire kingdom, your entire domain. This is finding your stability, your home. So maybe coming home after a long day, thinking about what you want. Maybe envisioning, especially if this has to do with love and choice and motion, all that. And just depending on your personality, like what makes a peaceful home for you, what makes you feel comfortable and safe in your environment, and for where you see yourself going. If you're making a choice, like between people, if it has something to do with romance, trying to think like, would this person or would one of these people like actually, could I do those things that I enjoy, like coming home to, rest and recuperate from the day with that person, or could I travel with that person? Are they a good travel buddy? I think traveling talks about a lot about like whether or not, especially with like a partner, romantic partner, like tells you a lot about, if you're a good match, traveling just in general. But maybe taking a trip with someone. Maybe the 4th house, again the 2nd house, so maybe there's not just one, but 2 decisions to make, or 2 people making decisions together. I like the colors of their dress. It's kind of, again, that kind of end of day, sunset time. It's like that perfect time of day when the sun's just warm and inviting, maybe making an inviting home or something like that. The King of Pentacles was on the bottom here as well. So 2 Taurus or Earth signs. Like I said, 2 people making decisions. I don't know. Taurus can be kind of a stubborn sign as well, as can Capricorn. So maybe 2 people being stubborn or having a lot of like pride with whatever it is, not wanting to like give in. Maybe just maybe just compromise. Like I said, using that gentle touch to win someone over. Get what you want. To tame your baser instincts, but also using your gut, using those instincts in accordance with your higher mind, with, logical reasoning and all that, and, not one or the other, but trusting yourself, trusting your instincts about where you're going, what you want, partner or not, with travel, maybe just deciding on a location. So maybe saving up for a trip too, or maybe you've already been doing that and you're ready to go. If there's anything else, let's do an oracle card and see what that says. For Capricorn, maybe not being late with that car that was in the Four of Swords, I think. That's one thing I know about Capricorn people, like, don't be late. They really like, their structure, and they're like being on time, and finding that compromise, being flexible with each other, because, especially if there is some sort of balance in that sense, like someone is very stubborn, Capricorn, Taurus, like needing things to be done a certain way, and then the person you're working with or the person that you're with being more of that sort of flexible, like maybe Neptunian or Leo, fiery, Gemini being another mutable sign kind of person. So, which can kind of clash sometimes, but I think it just is, more so about what you can teach the other, the more mutable person, fiery, helping the person that is Capricorn, Taurus, more fixed earth, like grounded, to think outside the box with that Neptune, to be flexible, to kind of more go with the flow and allow changes, allow things in, to take some leaps of faith, to, not always structure everything down to the last minute, being open to things that come in and things that could possibly change. And then on the opposite, someone with a lot of earth energy helping that mutable person maybe be more practical and realistic, whether in whatever area of your chart that those things fall into. But I've had so many conversations with someone who's a Capricorn. I'm just like, I'll just go on tangents about like all this, and they're like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. And it's just like, you just shot down all my hopes and dreams. But it's helpful though, because it makes you, like, brings you back down to earth and that kind of thing. So it's about finding that balance, I think, between that, those two kinds of ways of looking at things. Setting sail, setting forth towards finding your little heaven on earth, whatever that is, going somewhere like maybe Hawaii, I don't know, somewhere nice that represents that to you. Can just be going inward, and that can be your own inner sanctuary, your home. Especially if you're kind of like a homebody or enjoy being at home, and maybe it's a person, 2, 48 and 28. Just go with 2. Came out opposite, so there's a guy and a gal. So again, 28 adds up to be 10, 1. That might be you. And 48, 12 again. So maybe things have like happening in your 12th house or Chiron, and just seeing where that is. Let's see. So read 28 first. This is contact, reaching out, spiritual bonds, connections. Each contact with a human being is so rare, so precious, one should preserve it. In this life, we are spirit and we are flesh. When we forget that we are both, we can suffer unnecessarily. Little itch. This card can indicate a need to take time for meditation. There we go. And to connect with one's higher self. This will in turn allow us to see the spiritual aspects of others more clearly and be able to reach out to them more easily. The young man stands in a contemplative mood. The mask before him indicates that he has stepped away from his usual role in life. A flame beside the mask signifies the eternity of our nature and reminds us that all that we see in this earthly realm is no more than a mask. In his right hand, he holds a bell jar that contains the face of a woman. Maybe she is his spirit guide or love from a past life. She is reaching out to him with much love and tenderness, kind of like that strength card and communication, reaching out, contact. In his left hand, he holds two batons, indicating the duality of human nature, like the two of rods that came up twice. They might also indicate that he has more than enough will to move forward in his life. So again, about moving forward and finding that will, that inner strength, resources, things that make you go. Yeah, maybe taking off the mask. We show the world, like showing yourself more. Being a little bit vulnerable, especially with the moon and the lovers and strength card, and especially with the strength card, being vulnerable in a situation or with someone else. Because, Capricorn especially can tend to not, especially if you have it in your moon Capricorn or anything like that, tend to be a little bit more hard-nosed about showing their emotions and, being really open with people, with others, and how they feel. I don't think that, so maybe just opening up someone you feel like you can open up to. Reaching out. Say making magic. This also reminds me of like the Beauty and the Beast, like that rose that's in that glass container. Maybe time's running out. I don't know. Something preserved. I did mention flowers earlier. Saving something for the future. Holding on to someone from the past, maybe. It may or may not be good for you. It just depends on how you feel. And how they, what they do for you, not in like a weird way, but like what they, contribute to your life. I think every relationship should add some sort of, bring value to the table, bring like, what does that relationship add to your life, and what do you add to a relationship? Are you just, taking and giving, or finding that balance again between partners, between work and your home life, talking about value, with the second house, really valuing someone, maybe from afar, since they are, he's looking at her, maybe it's like, just looking at an old picture or something, remind someone of the past. All the little stars on his arm, looks more like kind of freckles or something. Maybe feeling like, something's like really touching to you, like, especially if you're not as like in touch with your emotions and that kind of thing. Maybe coming across something that really touches you on a deeper level, affects you in some way. Maybe that's the trigger to like get you to move, start something new, to open up and reach out. Again, like I said, someone who makes you feel safe too. Safe and like comfortable and productive, maybe. Long-term, like Capricorn, having to do like long-term thinking, long-term, your career, like taking the long route. So someone that maybe you can see yourself with for the long haul. So this is 48. Choices, risks, consequences. Men anger the gods with their pride, and in order to punish them, the gods looked on as Pandora opened her box, letting chaos loose. Both cards have some sort of box situation going on, so it's by someone unknown. We may often be intrigued by a what-if scenario. The card depicts curiosity, temptation, and wanting to know. It's natural to want to know or want to try, and the only way to find out is to try. It's through such processes that we can grow and avoid stagnation, but there are causes and effects. Here, a regal queen opens a jeweled, egg-shaped treasure from which flies a column of fairies, glowing like fireflies. Sorry, sometimes I feel so silly reading these, but, take them for what they're worth. The second house, they are now free. The fireflies are now free. What is unclear is whether the outcome of the release will be reflected on with fondness or regret. So letting something out into the open, maybe deliberating about whether or not to, maybe tell someone how you feel, or embark on that journey, embark on that new project, that choice, that path, opening up to new endeavors, new whatever it is for you. I'm wondering. Our acts invariably result in consequences, both good or bad. So there is a balance to be struck. Again, with that balance, unless we try, we will never know, and that in turn may be a lost opportunity that will gnaw away if not acted upon. But equally so, are we fully appreciative of the possible repercussions that may result? So yeah, taking everything into consideration, not just your own, I think starting with yourself, but then if it is a decision between another, maybe a partnership, maybe a work situation, colleague, path, choice, whatever, taking everything into consideration. How does things affect you? How will your choices affect you? How will your choices affect someone else? Not just thinking about yourself, action, reaction, fireflies reminds me of summer, trapping little fireflies, you used to as a kid. Or, I don't know if you did, but a lot of people did. Yeah, so that makes me think of summer, and again, kind of like that Leo type energy, youthfulness, summer, I just want to say July, but maybe June with the 6 here. Also, again, like using your higher mind, your intuition, to light the way. Yeah, I think letting something out into the open, maybe that will help you make your decision. Maybe just releasing whatever has been like, building up inside, like if it's been some kind of thing that's been, on your mind, and having to like weigh the options, and will this be good for my career versus what I really want, or long-term goals, anything like that, and weigh it against like, maybe the more impractical things, or the path you really want to go on. If there is a balance to be struck, how do you find that? Maybe just letting something out into the open, taking off the mask, opening up to someone that can help, or be of assistance in helping you make that decision. Maybe a boss or someone in the position to help you, like the Emperor, with more experience, that can also represent a father figure. But just, someone maybe you look up to. Or just taking a time out, break, relaxing, meditating, praying, whatever it is for you. Making a vision board. I've never made one of those, I just can't. But and then also taking into consideration all the practical things like of Capricorn, of your value, of your resources, finances, and for a source could represent work again, a long day, tired, some form of transportation, or again maybe with the 2 of Wands here, two wands, maybe it's 2 people, like I said, from a distance. Again, with these 2 cards, that one and her, I think that you really want in love, but like I was going to say, like 2 people looking out from a distance, maybe deciding where to meet. Maybe we have 2 people here, so meeting halfway, or 2 people deciding together like what they want in the future, maybe putting aside money, I don't know. Really planning things out though, and feeling your way through as well, not just relying only on plans and a map and all the things that you need on a journey, but like your emotions too, feeling your way through the dark, through the unknown, the areas of along the way that are a little bit unclear, unknown, in those situations, allowing for some more of a flexibility and feeling your way through the dark, learning to see in the dark, seeing through things, seeing through illusions, I think too, with the mask, seeing forest the trees and that kind of thing, seeing things for what they really are, not being delusional, like Neptune can be kind of delusional, if not properly used, as energy or characteristics, that kind of thing. So not being delusional or misled too. Also with the path and the moon, not being misled by delusional about finances or what you have to work with. Just being smart, I guess. This is also Pisces, by the way, which does represent the 12th house, or is ruled by the 12th house, rules the 12th house. We have the Hangman here and 6, so a lot of Gemini, choice, communication. Maybe you're in like a long distance relationship and having to coordinate how to meet halfway, figuring out how that works with schedules and work and all that. Or just letting your emotions tell you what's right for you, especially with having to make a decision. Rods having to do with fire, passion, what gets you going, what makes you motivated, excited to get somewhere, to get up and go. Could be a person, could be a destination, could be your goals, your dreams, whatever just think of, again, the dips in emotion. So maybe if you do tend to have like more emotional more emotional, watery nature with the Pisces and Neptune. Yeah, Neptune, Pisces. Maybe like not letting that be, not letting that influence you to a certain extent. Be more in control of emotions, or noticing patterns in emotions too is interesting for you. Maybe just like two people, like I said, like long distance relationship or something, just separated between Osiris, Isis, like Adam, Eve, what all the names that were mentioned earlier, like two beings, two, maybe sometimes the Two of Wands can represent twin flames, soulmates, like I said, but I don't know. If you believe in all that, like twin flame sort of thing, can be a little bit like, I don't know, new agey for my taste. But twin flames can just, it's like beyond soulmates. It's like two from one, like two souls, or one soul of one mind, that kind of thing. Like maybe telepathy even. I mean, maybe not on like a totally literal level, but just like feeling things at an emotional level, going through similar experiences, or with someone else. Maybe that's an influencing factor. Maybe telepathy. Who knows? You never know what's possible. I think Nikola Tesla believed in telepathy. Anyways, but yeah, twin flames. With that, Adam and Eve, all of those names I named before. And yeah, separating, going different ways, or coming together. Feeling like your counterpart is, I don't know, maybe looking for your other half. I don't know, wondering if like that's in the cards for you. I don't know, or just feeling connected to someone, maybe through emotion, through spirituality. I think that was mentioned. Maybe shared interest as well, or meeting someone. I just thought of meeting someone in your dreams. That kind of thing. Yeah, but like feeling very connected or close to someone, like they get you. If you're in a relationship and that's how you feel, then that's great. Or maybe, yeah, again, connecting through beliefs and shared values, sharing resources, being patient, like the Strength card here, being patient with someone or something, your goals, getting what you want, what you need, being imaginative and creative with Strength and Neptune, and Gemini and the Hangman, like using art and creativity to some extent to do that. Letting an emotion guide you, letting how you feel about a situation or a person guide you. Moon and all that. Or just cycles, going in cycles. I just thought of that styles, going round and round. And maybe with someone else. Maybe reincarnation. I don't know. Anyways, is going into that Neptunian area. So, maybe just imagining your life with someone, maybe imagining what you want in the future, figuring out the necessary steps, saving money, being patient, gathering your resources, being ready for when the time comes, being in contact, communicating what you want, what you need, being guided or guiding, maybe maybe looking on to a situation, watching something from afar, and I don't know, maybe it's inspiring you or like giving you a new perspective. This can also talk about having a new perspective, gaining clarity in your mind. The Gemini, like gaining clarity in your mind between two options, like flip-floppy in that sense. But maybe also just like making your decision based on the second house, like which represents, things that support you, whether that be a person or a finance, but things that you value, I think, tend to be the things that support you the most. So, recognizing what those things are, and increasing them, utilizing them to your benefit. Yeah, so I don't know if there's anything else I can, I'll pull some songs too, and then we'll be done, because I honestly, like, it's baffling to me how people can just, like, sum these up, like, so fast. Anyways, so for Capricorn, maybe you know Taurus, Capricorn, Pisces, Gemini. This has a lot to do with, like, your public, the persona with Capricorn, 10th house, 12th house. Even though we have second house came out, but it's like all the things that are going on in your second house that support your career, that support your dreams or goals, all that. So for Capricorn, a song. Purple Rain. Just Prince in the Revolution. Commercial Apex in the Reign of Prince. And The Wildest, The Happiest, The Show Busyness, Louis Prima. And Sign of the Times by Prince as well. Maybe paying attention to, like, little signs as well. For me, signs and things like that tend to come through the internet, through, electrical devices. I never really paid attention to it too much until something, like, really weird happened to me, and, like, it was just whatever notification on my phone, and then what it led to, and it was exactly what I was thinking about, and it actually gave me an answer as well, and it was just kind of weird. So ever since then, I always thought about messages, little signals that you're on the right track, maybe as well, like if you're going down the right way, you're on the right track, mentally speaking, emotionally, whatever. To follow those little signs and indicators. I love this song, A Wider Shade of Pale by Procol Harum, rock processional for the ages. So I'll put those below. Romeo and Juliet. So again, with that kind of, like, faded relationships, destined relationships, soulmates, twin flames. New Orleans piano. Papa Whim. Yeah, so feeling like very, free as well. Be connecting with someone through the internet, through, long distance relationships again, like I said. John Prime, just think of prime number, like the first, Moon in Aries, I don't know, Sign of the Time. So yeah, signs, little sign guideposts to help you, find your way, lead you in the right path. One time I was listening to something, and we were talking about it was like the High Priestess, and was like, the screen and the veil and all that. And they were saying something like, I don't know who this was, but it was like, it's right in front of you, the veils, the screen's right in front of you. I'm like looking around, like, because they said it in a way that was like, open your eyes. Like, it was kind of a weird, I don't know. I wasn't like really looking for anything, but like, I wonder what that could be. And then I just kind of realized, like, the screen right in front of you, that messages, being a portal to the other world side. Anyways, it's my own idea, but I don't know. That makes sense to anyone else besides myself. That's kind of that Neptune, like, whoa, where'd you just go there? But yeah, the wildest. So I just thought of also take a walk on the wild side, like path, the journey, taking a walk on the wild side, trying something new, being open to newness. Maybe something that you never considered before could actually be the thing that you need, so often we don't really even know. Like I was talking about my sun moon, like don't really even know what we need, depending on how you are wired. So, yeah, maybe someone else helping you figure out what you need as well, or just paying attention to the signs and things that come through and how you feel at that time. What makes sense to you? Yeah, getting in touch with what you need, what you really want. Signs, symbols, clues. Taking a chance, leap of faith, walk on the wild side. Letting your intuition, your instincts, your higher mind guide you. My hair's like really fuzzy. Yeah, and using some gut instincts. Maybe meeting halfway. Someone, figuring out what it is you want in a relationship, or making a decision for your future. Maybe something, whatever you start now, may have, long-term impacts, especially with Capricorn. So, being clear about what you want, asking for what you want, especially within relationships, making sure everyone's on the same page and all that. Yeah, using some sort of gentle touch, being sensitive, intuitive, tracking maybe lunar phases, cycles, the tracking, but stepping back, like the Hangman, seeing the big picture, seeing the whole picture as much as you can, as looking into the future a little bit, envisioning which choice, which decision, where it will potentially lead, and finding that place, that 0 point, that comfortable environment, whatever it is, your little paradise, your heaven on earth, whatever, for you, letting that be your ultimate, like, hopefully, conclusion, or thing that, like, makes you, get there. So, I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully, I don't really remember what I said. Yeah, so maybe being detail-oriented and that kind of thing. But overall, I think it's like just saying, make a decision, start now, get on with it. Don't wait, don't miss an opportunity. Be clear what you want with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't be delusional with what you have to work with. Being clear with others. Taking off the mask, opening up, being vulnerable. Trusting with others, or maybe just one person, but going with your gut on that, if you're wondering if you can trust someone, if you're wondering if that's the right way to go, if you're wondering whether or not to open up, let something out, let something out of the bag, go with your gut. What gives you butterflies or fireflies? That kind of, I think, speaks to the most, like, I don't know, baser parts of ourselves, the things that we really want, maybe give you butterflies, fireflies, looking forward to summer, thinking about your dreams, tapping into your dreams, and meeting in the dreams, meeting in the dream world, the space between. So I wrote a little poem about that. It's called the Bardos, the space between dream and wake. Yeah, we're soulmates. Yeah, that's funny because it has something to do with soulmates, where soulmates pass from life to life or something like that. Like that idea of like you don't always end up with your soulmate, but or even alive maybe at the same time. That twin flame thing going on, or Adam and Eve, all of that. But maybe if you believe in reincarnate, anything like that, meeting in dreamland. If you are a very grounded person, maybe opening up to those kinds of thoughts, those kinds of imaginations, opening up to someone, opening up the box of perception. I'll put that poem below as well. To what's possible, we can't always know everything, even if as much as we plan and track and, figure everything out and save and all that, things happen all the time that we can't anticipate. So, I think it all comes down to who you're with and, how you feel about yourself and your health and, always being resourceful and all those kinds of things. So, being open to changes and making the best of it, the most of it, being with someone, making a decision to go with someone or something, path, whatever, that helps you to be yourself, that helps you to, tap maybe into that more intuitive side of yourself, or helps you to open up, to see things with new perspective, new eyes, that grounds you, or vice versa, helps you to dream. So guys, I hope this was helpful, and also, if this does resonate for you, please feel free to let me know in the comments below or whatnot. But otherwise, have a great trip if you're going on a trip, or next few weeks, or have fun making some decisions, and yeah, see you later.